My name is R. Crosby Lyles, and this is Dudes from the Can. This is a follow-up to Heads Up Preppers. You need to see this. I sort of left out a few of the more conspiracy-minded possibilities for use of something like this. I just want to point out this low angle here. So that means that this did not come down. It's not like a ballistic missile type of thing. It was more of a cruise missile or a launch from the ground, launch from sea level type of device. And another thing is that you see this blue here. Blue is has to do with the spacing of the particles. The difference between blue and white typically is like cigarette smoke. The smoke emanating from the end of a cigarette will be blue in color. The smoke being exhaled from your lungs will be white in color because it has water vapor in it. So that's the difference between these two substances here. This blue is clearly the exhaust from a rocket, smoke exhaust from a propellant. And this is clearly a water-containing aerosol. Just objectively, that's what it looks like to me. This type of phenomenon has been seen in China and Miami and all over the world. This is typical of second, third stage of a rocket because as the rocket gets higher up in the atmosphere, the lower pressure causes the exhaust to flare out from the nozzle. That exhaust is much tighter, lower down where the pressure is greater. It's just part of rocket science. It's just a phenomenon of fluid dynamics because of the speed and the shape of the nozzle. Rocket nozzles are actually tailored to a certain range of air pressures. If that shape of that nozzle is not right and you have too much ambient air pressure, it will actually cause the rocket engine to explode. If it's not enough, it will just cause the rocket to not be very efficient, and it will cause the exhaust to flare out like that. So, this type of thing, that could be like maybe a geoengineering kind of thing. If you're conspiratorially minded, it's a wild and woolly world out there, so all kinds of things are possible. But some things came to mind after I put this video up that go beyond a straight-up killing weapon or fuel-air explosive device. It could also be used to mass introduce a psychoactive substance, because we've seen this being used already, and it didn't necessarily do anything to anybody, but you never know. What was in it? What was in that stuff? And this thing here was basically fired at Barack Obama back in 2009 when he went to visit Norway. And this thing shows up the night before or something like that. So could it be a mass psychoactive substance? Russians they're all into that stuff. They've been working on affecting your nervous system with microwaves since the 70s. And it's been shown that people in the American embassy in Russia would become morbidly depressed and things like that because they were being affected by an aggressive microwave emission program coming from Russia. That was back in the 80s. It's something that's been talked about. If you're a frequent YouTube conspiracy person, you've already seen this type of stuff. So your phone is a computer device that is also a microwave transmitter. It's a 3-watt microwave transmitter. So if somebody was able to create the right kind of programming, which there are patents that you can see online for computers to be able to modify the pulses actually coming off of your monitor or your CPU to affect your nervous system, to make you depressed or to change the way you feel. And that's high-tech psychological warfare type of stuff. So there's that. And then there's the geoengineering aspect. Now, here's the thing about geoengineering. That's a low altitude type of thing. I don't really see this as being effective for a geoengineering type of deal because of the low altitude. That altitude's too low. This here is probably beyond the stratosphere. I could see this phenomenon being used more for a geoengineering type of thing if they wanted to inject aerosol for aerosol shading into the stratosphere. I would see that, or chemtrails or something like that. They do have patents. I have personally seen patents for geoengineering jet fuel jets that spend a lot of time in the stratosphere above 35,000 feet. They fuel them up with a certain kind of fuel, and it produces chemtrails that produce aerosol shading. You know, it's out there. And those are old patents from 99 and 2000 and stuff like that. So that stuff is out there. Here's Wikipedia: stratospheric aerosol injection, climate engineering. So this is a thing, something that people have been talking about for a long time. And here's another one. This is very conspiratorially minded. I treat this very delicately. I don't put these things forward as facts. I'm just throwing this stuff out there. Make up your own mind. Population is actually in decline. Population numbers are declining, and that's just a function of the baby boom busting, basically. The baby boomers didn't leave behind as many children. This is the gay frog situation, which, you know, that's an Alex you-know-who thing. I don't even want to say the guy's name because, you know, I don't want my view numbers to get whacked. That's crazy. But there's a substance, and I can't remember what he said. It begins with an A, and I can't remember what the name of it is. Atrazine. Wow. Atrazine weed killer. So according to hear Alex you-know-who tell it, he says that this material here is turning the frogs gay. Don't know, you tell me. I don't really have an opinion about it. You know, stranger things have happened. But I can say this, and it's something that I've been thinking for a long time, is that the level of middle-aged white men out there that are committing suicide, and the suicide rate and the overdose rate is so high. Some of the things that are going on in society in general, it just feels like war. It feels like we're being acted upon aggressively and methodically, like it's a warfare type of thing. And this is, you know, part of that mix of stuff that's going on. So there it is. Is it a psychoactive substance? It is a geoengineering. Probably not this particular phenomenon. It's probably not geoengineering. Population control, that's, you know, hey. But considering that one of these incidences is known to have been launched from a submarine by the Russians, they said it was a third stage or a second stage failure of some sort. And because, okay, so that happened once, and now it's going to happen several times in all these different places, you know, I'm just saying. And what it does, and they obviously didn't blow the thing up. They didn't self-destruct it, you know. Don't they have self-destruct buttons on those things, on those missiles? You know what I mean? So they don't accidentally start a war or something like that. And this thing is just, the way it behaves, I mean, that's just too perfect. It flies up, holds its position, and spins until it runs out of aerosol. So anyway, I'm just throwing all that stuff out there. Y'all make up your own minds. I'm not stating these things as facts. I'm just, you know, these are just ideas. We're just spitballing here. Y'all make up your own mind. And, you know, if you like this content, give us a like, drop us a thumbs up, you know, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. See ya.